Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn and Hunter here, and if you guys enjoy this video, you should subscribe for more RWBY videos. Check out the Patreon to get these videos early, and you guys should join our Discord server to talk with us during the RWBY hiatus. And today we are talking about Mercury, because I have like a whole thing. Like, I'm so excited. I have a whole thing. I've cracked it. Like, this is my moment. Mercury is going to vacuum out with Tyrian. However, I have high doubts that they will actually make it to vacuum and that they will stay there. And so here's my theory, okay? Mercury and Tyrian, they're in the plane, all right? They're going to vacuum.
Having really awkward conversation.
Yes, and Mercury's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here because this is really bad. Because he's thinking about what Emerald said. And then he's also thinking, well, okay, if I leave, like, Tyrian is gonna hunt me down. So he's trying to think of a plan.
I imagine that it's kind of like when a homeless person sits next to you on the subway.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a serial killer, and it's a much more confined space.
Yes, and so they're just in the airship, they're together. And so here's what I think happens, is that Mercury just feels like that it's now or never. They're in the air, they're entirely alone. He can try to take him, and all he needs is like one lucky shot, right? Not even a fight. Mercury in his head is like, I just need one lucky shot to just throw Tyrian, because it's like a convertible, right? Like, we see Team RWBY, like, they have the hood up when Penny is flying out and she's going, like, to Amity Arena. And so I feel like that Mercury could be like, yeah, like, let's put the hood down. Like, let's, let's get some air, Tyrian.
Let's get some fresh air. And he's just like,
fresh air, Tyrian.
I feel like most people, the thing is that with Tyrian is that I feel like you can act suspicious around him and he wouldn't pick it up. Like, most people would be like, we're in a tundra, whereas Tyrian was like, yes,
Tyrian would be like, shit, right? And so I feel like the hatch will go down and Mercury will try to, like, yeet him off of the airship.
What I imagine is that there's like a, in most, fighter jets, which this kind of is, although it looks pretty civilian, there's like the ejector seats.
Yeah.
I imagine he ejector seats Tyrian.
But here's what I imagine, is that they're fighting in this very confined space. Alright, they're fighting. Mercury realizes that this was a bad idea, that he never should have done it, and that he's screwed. That he's really screwed, and he jumps. Okay? Mercury jumps out of the airship because he realizes that this is just like, he's dead either way. That either Tyrian is gonna kill him, or, you know what I mean? Like, he realizes that it's a lost fight. He jumps out of the airship, and you know what he does? He flies, because his semblance unlocks, and he flies, okay? So he flies away, and he flies all the way back to Emerald, and is like, Emerald, I just pissed off Tyrian, maybe we should go. So I feel like it's two things. Would Tyrian die by Mercury? I'm gonna say it's possible, but probably not. I think that Tyrian is the lone survivor of like, I think that somebody said this in the comments to me, and I think it makes a lot of sense, that Tyrian is the lone survivor of Salem's villain camp, right? Watts, I feel like, is done after this volume. Hazel's leaving. I feel like Salem wants to get rid of Cinder, and so the villains that Salem has around her is dwindling. And even though I thought that Tyrian could be done after Atlas, like, we talked about that in Volume 7, I'm not so sure anymore. I think Tyrian needs to go to Vacuo, or Salem has to recruit some new people. Because I feel like that everyone else, like, Hazel's defecting, Watts is gonna die, all you have is Tyrian and Cinder, and it's sort of implied that Salem may be getting rid of Cinder. So will Tyrian die? I don't think so. He could, but I doubt it. So I feel like that it's gonna be a lost fight and Mercury is gonna get away. Now, in terms of the flying thing, because a lot of people are like, but Cal, how can he fly? His dad stole his semblance. But I imagine a semblance almost like a mole. Okay, you can cut off the mole, but the mole can grow back into a new mole, into a slightly different mole than before. So I feel like that Mercury's dad, okay, bear with me, Mercury's dad stole his semblance. We know that, right? Mercury's dad stole Mercury's semblance. But that doesn't mean that that semblance is gone forever, whatever it was. But we know that semblances evolve over time. And so why couldn't a semblance regrow and re-unlock? Because semblances unlock when you need them most. We've seen that with Ren. Like, I need to hide from the Grimm, so he gives him a semblance to hide against the Grimm. And even in, like, I don't want to take the fairy tale books as complete fact, but there are semblances in the fairy tale book that seem to be explicitly designed for a survival instance. Like, the huntsman dad says, I can sense when Grimm are near, that's my semblance. and then the kid can do something very similar to Ren, where they turn invisible to the Grimm. And so I feel like that it's possible that a semblance is there for the survival. Like, it's the chicken or the egg thing, right? Like, did Nora have a lightning semblance, or did she develop that semblance because she got struck by lightning, and that was her body's way to make her survive? So in Mercury's case, he re-unlocks his semblance because that's what he desperately needs at the moment. He needs to fly away without Tyrian. So I feel like that Mercury would jump out, he would, sort of think that he's dead, and then his semblance would activate, and then he flies. And he's also based off of Mercury, the Greek god, right? But I think the equivalent to Mercury
Roman god.
Yes, Roman god, that's what I mean. Mercury is the Roman god, but I think the equivalent to Mercury is
Apollo.
Hermes.
Or yes, Hermes, yes.
Right? And so I feel like that, he has little wings on his boots, let him fly the fuck away. And I feel like it would make sense, because we're seeing that character development in character decisions are tied directly to semblance, right? Ren grows as a person, and his semblance also grows with him. That is what we've been seeing. So if Mercury grows as a person, could he re-unlock his semblance? Because it seems to be that is tied together narratively. So if Mercury makes a change and realizes that this is a bad fucking idea, that he should go back with Emerald and they should run away together and, leave and defect.
A long, quiet road trip with Tyrian will probably lead to some introspection.
And so I feel like that introspection could lead to a semblance unlock. That's my whole theory. And then after, Tyrian will make good on that promise that if you leave Salem, I will hunt down your ass, right? So I feel like that Mercury will get back, he'll try to leave with Emerald, and maybe there will be a Mercury, Emerald, Tyrian fight. And then maybe if Mercury and Emerald are defecting, somebody else will help them. Maybe that'll be Cinder's choice. That'll be something that Cinder does, is that Cinder, even though Mercury and Emerald are traitors, she realizes that she values them more. Because Mercury was like, I got my own big plans. Right? And Cinder seems sort of sad about that Mercury was leaving and that she had caused this, right, by not valuing them. And so maybe when it comes down to it, Cinder will actually defend Mercury and Emerald and fight against Tyrian. I think that would be sort of cool
that would
for
be
Volume 9 or later Volume 8 situation.
So I like that theory a lot. I just have two, modifications.
Sure.
One is that I remember way back in the day in Volume 4 and 5 when we first saw Salem's conference room.
Yeah.
How people noticed that there were extra seats that weren't being filled. So some people believe that there were other villains that just haven't been introduced yet.
Yeah.
I suspect that maybe we might see them when we go to Vacuum.
I feel like it's so late in the game, though.
It is kind of weird.
It's so late in the game.
But it's also, we understand historically, Talk used to work for them.
Sure.
So, maybe she could have hired out kind of mercenaries, others sort of, for lack of a better term.
Not everyone's in the way.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. So, I imagine that... Yeah, I imagine that she must have sleeper cells around the place.
But I feel like we already got that, because I think the Hound, that there could be the implication that the Hound was at Beacon for a while, but then it's it was an experiment, Cinder's never seen it before, so was it recent, yesterday, or was it just at Beacon this whole time and Cinder didn't see it because it was after? You know what I mean? That Salem made the Hound after Cinder was recovered and sent the Hound, in their... Right? And so a lot of people think that the Hound is sort of one of those villains that we didn't see. What's your second thing?
My second thing is that I don't think it will be a semblance thing. What I've noticed, if you look at Mercury's new...
How is he gonna fly if he's not...
Mercury's new outfit is that he has the wings on his boots. So I kind of like that that's the sort of Hermes equivalency. Also, I feel like people forget he has prosthetic legs.
Yeah.
So I feel like he could kind of have the sort of penny boosters in his legs.
So your theory is that it has nothing to do with his semblance. He just jumps out and flies away with his shoes.
I imagine it's more of I like the idea of a fight on the plane, and then it's he thinks he just boosters him and he's okay, but then I feel like you can't get rid of Tyrian with just a booster. Seat, right? He would jump back and then jump back on, and then they kind of have a fight within it. Yeah. I imagine it's sort of like that Deadpool van fight, where I feel like that would be a very chaotic, there's five, the guy has 5 limbs and he's dodging the stabbing tail.
Well, yeah, because you have the tail, right? So that's pretty cool.
And then someone bumps the steering wheel and it just goes into a nosedive, and that's when he
Mercury
jumps.
Flies away, basically.
And we think that Mercury's dead, and then we see the kind of reveal of him flying away with his boots. And suddenly I think it makes sense that okay, he has wings on his feet. He has his kind of prosthetic legs.
Because I could see that. Like, it's technology, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the idea of, like, re-unlocking the semblance.
I like the idea
moment,
of that
all.
coming back. I just don't know if this is the situation for
Maybe
it.
not. But yeah, that's true. Like, it would be nice to see that technology is useful, I guess. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but it would be interesting. Like, what if that's, you know, a modification that he got from, I don't know, Watts or something.
I mean,
right? Everyone else got to glow up. Not everyone else, but like Tyrian got to glow up from Watts. So what's stopping Watts from doing the same thing for Mercury? So yeah, I think that is all from us though. So I feel like that Mercury, he has to be not gone. I feel like that they wouldn't just say, okay, bye Mercury, and then go to Vacua. I feel like that's just not it. I feel like that's just not happening, right? I feel like that it makes a lot more sense for some sort of incident to happen in the airship. That makes a lot more sense to me. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed our theory about Mercury, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!